Welcome to Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha, the Director of the Human Relations Department. We are excited to have the opportunity to bring you today's program. The Human Relations Department enforces and encourages fair treatment and equal rights for the citizens of the City of Winston-Salem. The Human Relations Department has three key areas of responsibility. They are investigating housing discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, disability, family status, and gender, mediating landlord-tenant complaints, and conducting cultural diversity education and inclusion training and outreach. This television program is a part of our education and outreach efforts. All Nexus television programs feature community partners. During this episode, we will focus on community activities that further our mission. We will be speaking with Drea Parker, the Compassion Coordinator for Compassionate Winston-Salem, and Michael Clinton, the Community Relations Chair for the Human Relations Commission. Now let's join Adolfo Briceño of our staff, who will interview today's guests.
Thank you very much, Wanda, and thank you very much for being with us in this edition of Nexus. I have here to my right Drea Parker. She's the Compassionate Coordinator for Compassionate Winston-Salem. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Tell me a little bit about Compassionate Winston-Salem for those of us in the audience, or for those in the audience that don't know what Compassionate Winston-Salem is all about.
Okay. Compassionate Winston-Salem is a movement. It's not a program or a project or anything. It's a movement to reach out into the community and bring back an awareness that all the acts of kindness that we are doing are acts of compassion. What we saw was that all the acts of service going to Samaritan Ministries, the food bank, and individual programs, individual groups, they've become a silo movement. And so we're trying to bridge that gap and create Compassionate Winston-Salem as an umbrella, highlighting and focusing on the fact that we are a compassionate city.
That is interesting. How did the idea originated?
It came from the Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the Dalai Lama, Karen Armstrong, and other spiritual luminaries back in 2008 coming together in Seattle. And after a week of revising this Charter for Compassion, which you can see on our website on compassionatews.wordpress.com, it's a 4-paragraph statement, and the nuts and bolts of it is that we are a compassionate society and that we want to treat everybody with absolute equity, justice, and respect. And so when we take that within ourselves and go out into the community and share that with others that we come across throughout our day, we find ourselves having a more compassionate interaction. I
see. And what kind of reaction have you found among the people that live in Winston-Salem? What kind of?
Well, they love the idea of Compassion in Winston-Salem. They love the fact that we're trying to bridge the gap between the silos and raise the awareness that we are compassionate people. Everywhere I go, when I show to people what we're doing, they just have more and more ideas that we can add to the growing list of compassionate action that we're doing.
I see. Now, in the future, we were talking before the show, and you guys have a few activities to suggest people write for some compassionate acts for the holidays. Give me a few examples of those, Drea.
One thing that individual groups can do is adopt a family, or they can hand out blankets to the homeless, get a group together to provide a meal at the Bethesda Center. Or visit nursing homes to go and sit and talk with the residents because they've become, needing interaction with people on a daily basis. Those are just a few individual ideas that people can do. There's the standards that, with the Second Harvest Food Bank, they're needing volunteers, especially during the week, helping to process the food and get them ready to go out into the food agencies. Then there's Samaritan Ministries. They have 2 upcoming campaigns, Pennies and Pork and A Gift of Hope. And you can get in touch with Samaritan Ministries to find out what you can do to help them. There's all the standard ways to help and reaching out, Habitat for Humanity, hospice, etc.
Is there going to be a centralized effort from Compassionate Winston-Salem to coordinate all these, or these are just suggestions?
These are
that-
suggestions. We do have a running activity that we're going to begin in January. Every third Friday, we're going to be serving meals to the homeless at the Bethesda Center. And then from there, we will have everything listed on our website as to what, if you need a central place to go and look and see what activities you can join. Go to our website and look on the events page or the current month's events.
Awesome. Now, in Compassionate Winston-Salem vision, what needs to happen in the city so we can be a compassionate city? Is there a goal in that sense?
There is a goal, and we already have been declared a compassionate city. Jerry McLeese and I began this effort to bring this campaign to Winston-Salem a year and change ago. And in July, our efforts resulted in the City Council endorsing the Charter for Compassion. And from there, we had a city reception at the City Hall, and then the mayor made a proclamation that Winston-Salem can be known as a city of compassion. And we submitted our proclamation along with a strategic plan to the global organization Compassion Action Network International. And from there, it's a global movement that we've joined other cities around the world, from Gaziantep, Turkey, Louisville, Kentucky, Compassionate Seattle, in helping to raise the awareness that we are a compassionate society. From there, bringing it back locally, what we're doing is an outreach program and reaching out to area businesses, schools, and other organizations to see if they would be willing to join our efforts, become a charter partner, and create or register a compassionate project that they're already doing, and they're just not aware that it's just a project that they're doing, but we can associate it and connect it with it being an act of compassion.
I see. Are there other cities around us that are doing this effort of being a compassionate city?
Absolutely. I know that Atlanta in Georgia, they're working to bring that to Atlanta. St. Augustine, Florida, recently had their city endorse the charter. And of course, Louisville, Kentucky, there's Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I know of Columbia, South Carolina is also in the beginning stages of bringing this movement to their city. So I just want to stress that this is a movement. It's not a program, it's not a new project. It's just a highlighting and focusing on the fact that we are compassionate people, just a reminder and helping us reconnect with each other on a daily basis.
I see. Awesome. Well, after these few events that we're going to have, what's in store for Compassionate Winston-Salem for the near future?
Well, in the near future, our hopes is to obtain a 501c3 status and continue the movement and reaching out into the community and creating new programs for Compassion Winston-Salem to do alone, aside from focusing on what's already happening. But in the meantime, I want to also mention the Compassion Games that occurred in September. Yeah, Seattle and Louisville, Kentucky, they were the first cities to be declared a compassionate city. And so they had a co-opetition instead of a competition of seeing which city can provide the most acts of compassion to their fellow community. And Louisville, Kentucky was able to declare that they were the most compassionate city by showing that they achieved 90,000 hours of acts of service. And so that was that was in 2012. And from there, this year, 2013, was the first time that over about 18 groups, cities, organizations joined the Compassion Games. And we had a wonderful time showing all the acts of kindness that were already happening and seeing what each community could create. And for Winston-Salem, we were able to show the fact that in 10 days' time, the games started on the 11th of September with 9/11 and ended on the 21st, International Day of Peace. And in those 10 days, Winston-Salem had 1,500 volunteers submit or commit to acts of service, and that resulted in about 5,400 hours of service completed.
Awesome.
And we served over about 7,500 people in 10 days.
I see.
And that to me is just phenomenal. And that to me is our foundation, our building point, our springboard for what we can do next year and continuing the next years after. So what I'm hoping to do is begin our campaign for rallying more community activities to see what we can create for the games next year.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I was only able to bring in, I only had about a month to put this together for Winston-Salem. And so I reached out to United Way, Hospice, Habitat, Second Harvest Food Bank, and a few others that I'm sure I'm not remembering right now, but they're listed on our website as to who all was involved. And so these were already acts of compassion that were already happening.
Okay.
It wasn't anything I created, not a new program. And so from those that we were already doing, we were able to help 7,500 people.
I see. I see. So there are also going to be games these
Next
games
year.
next
Every
year in
year.
September.
I believe it's in September. I'll know more later.
Awesome. Okay. Well, the holidays are always a good time to try to start acts of kindness and compassion. And I hope the folks at home watching this show will also do their share for a compassionate city in the city of Winston-Salem. Thank you very much, Drea Parker, for your time here, and we'll be right back.
When raking or blowing your leaves, remember to keep them out of the gutter and away from storm drains. Blocked drains will cause flooding in a heavy rain, and the leaves that get into the storm drain will end up in our streams, making the water grow murky with oxygen-robbing algae that can kill fish. Remember, nothing but rain belongs in a storm drain. A message from the Stormwater Management Division.
Thank you for being in this next segment of Nexus. I have here to my right Michael Clinton. He is the Community Relations Head of the Human Relations Commission. Thank you, Michael, for being with us, for sharing your time with us.
Yes, sir.
So let's start off the conversation, Michael,
Sure.
by talking a little bit of the MLK Dreamers Award.
Okay.
What can you tell us about this award?
Absolutely. The MLK Dreamers Award is an award that has been given by the City of Winston-Salem to individuals between the age of 18 and 40, male or female, that has made a significant contribution in helping others, others that may be disadvantaged, others who may not have the opportunity to do some of the other things in the city that others may have. But this award is just given to the individual who has just gone above and beyond in service in helping those who may be handicapped or those who, again, may be disadvantaged. And so that's what this award is all about. And we consider it to be a prestigious award because it's an award of service.
Right. In the spirit of Reverend King. Now, so how many nominations we have so far? How is it going?
Yeah, right now we do have several nominations, and we are still accepting applications for those who, again, who are eligible for the award. And you can also go to the City of Winston-Salem website, which is cityofws.org, and go to the Human Relations Department, and there is detailed information, and there's also a link for a nomination form. So anyone that fits those criteria, we would love to be able to look at their application, and we'll be selecting, someone for that award.
I see. In past years, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's a female and a male, right, that do receive the awards?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. It is a male and a female that receive that award. And a really nice thing about it as well, the recipients of the award will be recognized at a city council meeting, which is normally in January, and they will receive that award before the council and also be recognized for that award as well. So we're very excited about the MLK Dreamers Award and those recipients.
I see. So there is a community recognition to them. It's
Absolutely.
Not, right. It's not only between us.
Yeah, and also that will be aired on this station as well. So you'll have an opportunity to see them citywide on the city station.
Yes, and hopefully that also will encourage them even more
Absolutely.
to spread I'm sure the work that they've probably already been doing. Now, if we go into 2014, Michael, tell me a little bit of what's in store for the Human Relations Commission and the Human Relations Department in general.
Sure. Well, the Human Relations Department is, I consider to be a very vital part of our community. You know, we promote unity, we promote non-discrimination. There's so much that I probably don't have enough time to explain or tell about that the department does. And that was one of the things that attracted me to the department, was the work that it has done in the city and in the community. But moving forward in 2014, a couple things that kind of pops out in mind is, one of the things is the Student Awards Banquet, which we partner, a co-partner with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools to recognize students with achievements during the course of the year. We do a really big banquet down at the Benton Convention Center, and several hundred students, parents, grandparents, fans of the students come out to help celebrate our young people's achievements. And so that will take place in 2014. And so we're very excited about that as well. Actually, not 2014, 2013, it will also take place. That's one thing to stick out, is the Student Award Banquet. And again, the city council is there, city representatives, the mayor's there. So it's a really, really big banquet and ordeal. And again, it's to recognize and celebrate, you know, the accomplishments of our kids. And so, what better way to celebrate?
I see.
Yeah.
I think there's also in 2014, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's going to be the second edition of Showcase of Song.
Yes.
What kind of preparations are you guys doing for that?
Well, last year was the first year that the Human Relations Department sponsored the Showcase of Songs. And it was a complete success. Last year we held it, our very first one, pretty much our inaugural Showcase for Songs at the Benton Convention Center. I'm sorry, the Coliseum, LJBM Coliseum then. But we had our first Showcase of Songs there, and we invited several different, you know, groups, singers, musicians of diverse backgrounds. Not just gospel, but we had Ethiopian, I mean, we've had African drummers, African dancers, but just a celebration of a black heritage, black music. And so we had, again, several hundred people to come out and showcase their talent. And this is a wonderful opportunity for singers and songwriters and groups and that type of thing to showcase their talent to the city of Winston-Salem, and again, that was aired on this station as well. But we got great feedback from the community and great support from the city, and said, hey, we want to do it bigger and better even next year. And so moving forward, in 2014, what we've scheduled, we've actually partnered with Old Salem. They do a heritage festival every year at Old Salem, which is really, really good. And so we've partnered with them to do the Showcase of Songs, which is a part of that festival as well. So we're anticipating it being bigger, better, more people coming out, and very excited about the plans that we already have in place for that.
I see.
Yeah.
The gospel singers are going to be still part of the program?
Absolutely,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. Gospel singers, gospel musicians, gospel choirs, gospel groups, all of those, you know, different genres with gospel, whether it's Negro spirituals, whether it's contemporary gospel, whether it's contemporary Christian gospel, a cappella, any type of gospel music, we would like to definitely showcase their talent on that night or that day.
I see.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, last year was, Michael just said it, our first Showcase of Song, and he was the host of that, of that event, Michael. And it was a beautiful exhibition of talent. There are some folks that, as Michael said, sung without music at all. They were just clapping, weren't they?
Yeah.
Other folks brought their drums.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they brought their music in general. So it was a very, very interesting
It was.
exhibition of what people here in the city of Winston-Salem does. And we really, until we saw them, we really had no idea they were doing it. So it's a very interesting, well, scenario, you know, to showcase precisely their talents, right? That's what it's about.
Yeah, and there's so much talent here in our city, gospel singers and choirs and groups, and I'm just amazed of the talent. You know, I've been in the city for over 40 years, and I'm just amazed with the talent that is residing here, and also new and upcoming talent as well. And so, again, this is just an opportunity and a platform to be able to showcase some of that talent that is in our city.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Michael, and I hope you guys can be with us in these events that we're preparing in 2014. Thanks again, Michael, for being with us. This is Michael Clinton. He's the Community Relations Head of the Human Relations Commissions. We'll be right back with the Nexus Challenge.
Thanks, Adolfo. I'm Jamie Waldeck, and this is the Nexus Challenge, where we test your knowledge about fair housing laws. Here's our first question. Which of the following is not a protected class under fair housing law? Is it A, race, B, family status, C, credit standing, or D, religion? The answer is C. Individuals cannot be denied housing on the basis of race, familial status, or religion. However, they can be denied if they do not meet a housing provider or lender's credit requirements. There are 7 characteristics in total for which a housing provider cannot deny an individual. We have already discussed race, family status, and religion. The other 4 characteristics are color, gender, national origin, and disability. Here's our next question. If a rental home is broken into, who is responsible for investigating the matter? Is it A, the landlord, B, the police department, or C, the tenant? The answer is B. Tenants should contact police if their home has been broken into. And here's our last question. An apartment complex allows residents to reserve the common room for parties and other social activities. In the past, the manager has allowed the room to be reserved for Christmas and Hanukkah celebrations. Now, a resident wants to reserve the room for a pagan celebration to mark the winter solstice. What should the manager do? Should she A, refuse the reservation because paganism is not an organized religion, B, accept the reservation, or C, accept the reservation but ask the resident to rename the gathering a holiday celebration to avoid offending church-going tenants? The answer is B, accept the reservation. Fair housing law bars communities from treating people differently based on their religious beliefs or practices. The law clearly protects members of established religions, but fair housing experts believe it's broad enough to cover a wide variety of religious or spiritual beliefs. I'm Jamie Waldeck, and that's this month's Nexus Challenge. Now let's go back to Wanda.
Thank you, Jamie. Before we go, here's a look at some upcoming events. We hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you for watching Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha. See you next time.
you.